doing so. Don't forget to smash the like button and smash the subscribe button. If this is your first time, once you smash the subscribe button, select the bell button and then select the all option, okay? So that you're notified when I'm on a live stream or when I've uploaded a pre-recorded content. Let's see who is online. Let's see who is online. If you can hear me, you can see me. Smash that like button. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. What's going on, people? Olajuwon, hi. What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? So, yeah, this is a serious matter. I had several several diasporans, people that watch my channel, you know, multiple, I can't even count them, and that have sent me emails in the past. And so I was looking through my emails and I realized there's been several people that has asked me to talk about this and stuff like that. And so I said, yeah, why not? Let's see what we can talk about tonight. Okay. If this is your first time, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you for doing so. Let me use this avenue to say, for those that are waiting to hear back from me regarding Ifa divination, Akosajaye predestination checks, I'm rolling out responses. I've sent out some batches today. Tonight, I'll be working late overnight and through the rest of the week. So just so you know, if you get to watch this content, I try to put messages on my community page as much as I can. People send me messages, I reply. So all the backlogs, I'm dealing with them, okay? So if you're waiting to hear from me, I would definitely, before the end of the year, everything will be sorted. I'm working tirelessly to get in touch with everybody, okay? So I'm a proud Ifa initiate and practitioner, African spirituality. Those have been watching me for a minute, they know this. Back in April, I started Ifa divination service and they've been life transforming. It's been absolutely fantastic. I've had so many people who have been able to recalibrate their lives, Ifa divination, compatibility checks, what do you call it? Compatibility checks, Akosajaye, which is what are you called to do in this dispensation and things like that. So I've been dealing with quite a lot, and then sometimes people need appeasement based on the outcome of the divinations and things like that. And it's been amazing. It's been life transforming. It's my way of life, and it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. But I've had a bit of a build up. Some people waiting for me. I've done my best to communicate. So, like I said, I've been very busy. The whole of today, I've been dealing with batches and batches of Ifa divination. So if you're waiting to hear from me, I'll definitely, like I said. So, and if it's something you're interested in, you can bang me an email. My email address will be in the description of this video. You can follow me on Instagram at Phrankleen. Ifa can basically look into anything. And I mean anything. Okay? If you're going into business, does this align with your energy? Or you're going into partnership with someone, you're dating someone, if you're looking to marry them, man or woman, compatibility checks. Do your compatibility checks. You know, so you don't lay with the wrong person, have a bunch of kids with the wrong energy that will change the dynamics of your life forever. What's up, bro? What's up? Thank you for Jody James. Thank you for the support, man. I see you, bro. Appreciate it. So let's crack on. If you're interested, you can bang me email. So let's crack on with the with the show. Now, if we talk about depression within the what do you call it, within amongst us as African diasporans, it's a very, very, very serious thing. Very serious. The fundamental problem that we have within the Black community, whether you live in the UK, in the US, Germany, Australia, is one, there is nobody paying attention to the collective plight and concerns of the Black community. There is none. Even for African Americans whose generations after generations fought and built the United States of America, they're still fighting till date. They're still fighting to be heard, to be listened to. You know, racism is a big thing in the West and all that stuff. And mental health issues and all that stuff. But I want to come at this from the point of view of diasporans. I've had like multiple emails from several people. There are people who came uh, from for example, let's say somebody came to the UK from Nigeria. One of the fundamental problems, you know, behind these depression and all these problems, African superstar, we are trying to force ourselves to live in foreign lands. I like that. I'll come back to that in a moment. Culture shock. Okay. So I like a lot of you already know. If you grew up in, say, Nigeria, that's the environment you've known. The culture there is totally different. And the same thing in Ghana, Cameroon, and all that in Africa. So you come to the West, and it's a totally different culture. It's a case of all man for themselves. You know, I always say this: there was a culture in the system whereby the true inner workings of an individual's life is concealed. So look at life in the UK. You come out of your house in the morning, you're probably going to the bus station, bus stop, or the train station. You keep your head down, you have your bag, you jump on the train, you go underground or overground, you're going straight to work. Work, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 hours, 15. You commute and all that. Limited communication, you're at work. More than likely, you're subjected to microaggression, ill treatments, you know, and stuff like that. In the challenging work environment, or if you're going to university, college, and all that stuff. There's limited communication. You're by yourself. The pressure to pay bills and things like that. And this template of living is actually a pattern that a lot of our folks are trapped in, right? And for the most part, like I say, you're by yourself. So someone, say for example, who's done a bit of growing up in Africa, comes here and you're pretty much by yourself. Even if you know people that you talk to on the phone, everybody's working. You have things like WhatsApp. There's limited human contact. And you realize that you are caught in the rat race. For most people, it's like a triangular system of living. What do I mean? Work, home, and then sometimes to whatever religious establishment they belong in or to. That's like a church or mosque or things like that. And it's just round the clock. Or some people just school run, get their children from school, and it's just that rat race. You are. It's almost like you're living in a society whereby it's a system of ostracizement, if I can say that. You are ostracized. You're living amongst people, but you're pretty much ostracized, and that's how that works. And week day in, day out, week in, week out, round the clock. Some people, a handful of people within the Black community are lucky They may have one or two siblings or mom or dad or something to talk to. Even at that, you don't talk all the time, right? There's also a lot of our people, you are here by yourself. Even if you're here with your partner, your husband, or your husband and wife and children, you're trapped in the bubble called home. Wherever you live, in whatever box, apartment you live, you're there. You're pretty much caught in that cycle, right? Now, like I say, a lot of our folks are trapped in the illusion of inclusion in these society. So there's actually no systems in place. There is no one paying attention to the sufferings and the challenges of Black folks. That's a fact. That is a fact. And there's also this very deadly factor, the societal conditioning, part of the toxicity that exists in the Western system. As a Black man, I'm expected, in fact, not even expected, I'm labeled as, and seen as being overly strong. I should be tough and all that. Our Black women, if they get pregnant and they go to hospitals and stuff like that, they suffer even more because they deal with a lot, because there is a very toxic preconceived notion about Black women that, oh, they should be able to deal with the contractions and the pressures of being pregnant and having a baby, or going through C-section, or even if it's just an illness. There's these intentionally designed, I think, misconception about how do I say, how they see them, and which leads to the ill treatment. And some people might have babies, and then after having those babies, complexity kicks in on medical grounds. Having a child, having a baby can totally change the dynamics of a woman's life. There is nobody to listen to them. There is no genuine support system. Now, those women, they are expected to just carry on as normal. The medical systems, there is no empathy, right? You just want to carry on breastfeeding, nursing your yes, Akpitombi, you're correct. Black mothers are extremely neglected within the healthcare sector, absolutely. And some of you already know this. These are the harsh realities of Black women. Oh, don't get me started on our Black brothers, the men. The system is not forgiving when it comes to a Black man. In fact, an innocent Black man, the one without criminal record, the one with a clean slate, is not really seen as acceptable. This, if you make one silly mistake, they will snatch your freedoms from you, and it could cost you your ability to earn a living, criminal record, and things like that. If you make a mistake this much, they will amplify it. They can blow it out of proportion, and it will absolutely ruin your life. There is nobody paying attention to Black men. There is nobody. If you look at the systems we live, whether you're here in the UK, you live in the US, there's nobody. Amongst ourselves, a lot of us have opinions about ourselves. Let's hit the pause button. There's nobody. There's no support mechanism. I may be able to deal with some level of stress and whatever. Some other Black men are not wired. Thank you, Flo. Black men are treated worse, like animals. In this system, if I'm on the roadside and I get into an altercation with my white counterpart. Fact. And we were arguing about, I'm talking hypothetically now, about a parking space and all that. 9 out of 10 times, if say police officers were going to pull up, as they are driving towards us, they already have their bias activated. They already have a stereotypically generated perception of me as being a savage. They already labeled me as a thug, a threat to my white counterpart. There is a stereotypically generated perception of me as being a danger as a black man. I'm having to prove and fight to change the narrative. It's the system that we live in. If you're being assertive and you're not taking an ill treatment as their ill treatment or whatever ill treatment as you're not accepting a particular ill treatment has been thrown at you, you're labeled as being aggressive and intimidating, you raise your voice. Do you know the number of times I've lived in England for more than 20 years of my life? You be on the train, I'm nicely dressed, I leave my house, and thank you for the super chat, globalismo black man. Thank you, I appreciate you. You be on the train, you be on the bus, nicely dressed, well shaven, nice perfume, nice shoes. Doesn't matter what designer label you're wearing. There are persons in this society that would get on the bus, that would get on the train, they would choose to stand for the next 10 stops, 12 stops. They will avoid sitting next to me. I mean, you know, I'm well emancipated. If you don't want to sit next to me, I have all the space to myself. You know, I've had to recalibrate my mind over time. But these look of disdain, it's some of the microaggression, you know, things that you deal with. You walk into certain places, it has nothing to do with how articulate you are, how meekly spoken you are. They have stereotypically generated perception of you. It doesn't matter the amount of degree. You can be a medical doctor, some of the finest brains. They have bias. I can't sit here and begin to tell you countless times. You be on the train, you see certain persons, certain other races, they look at you, they don't want to sit next to you. Only if they don't have a choice. You know, like on a plane. There was a time a few years ago, before the pandemic, when I was flying from Nigeria to the from London to Nigeria, to Lagos, Nigeria, and I was flying on British Airways. There was this non-black woman. I love to sit in the aisle. I love the aisle sit. I don't like sitting by the window, right? And when she identified that she had to sit next to me, I could see the countenance, the look of disdain. Do you know she went to call the air hostess? It was British Airways, and she was trying very hard to say, can you put me somewhere else? So the lady connected with me. She was a mixed race lady that worked for British Airways. Looked to my eyes and asked the woman and said, what's wrong with the seat? And she said, can you, and she goes, sorry, no, I can't move you. She left that air hostess, went to someone else. I knew what that was. Unfortunately for her, the plane was packed. There were no free seats. Eventually, she went to like 2 or 3 different air hostesses just complaining, I don't want to sit there. And they were like, why? You pick that seat and stuff. What's wrong? And all that. And I just sat there, you know. So eventually, there was this gentleman, as a black gentleman. I saw him speaking to about three of the other hostesses and all that stuff. They were just talking, and then the lady, the mixed race one, came up to me and said, "Sir, would you mind coming with me, please?" And that was the first time in my life that I was going to sit in a premium economy seat. They just said, they were upgrading me. They upgraded me. That was the first time I was ever going to sit in a premium economy. So they put me next, took me forward, put me in premium economy seat. It was a mixed bag of emotion. I was delighted that I got an upgrade, but at the same time, I was pissed off. But I sort of was grateful to the hostess for moving me forward, right? This is just one out of numerous experiences. The reason I'm telling you this story, I've dealt with truckload of crap living in the West. I fought over the years in the system. I'm still standing. Some people are not wired like me. And I'm not trying to project myself like a Superman, because I'm not. Some things do affect you. They sort of affect the dynamics of your life. I'm grateful because I found Ifa, I found African spirituality, and it's been illuminating and life transforming from a spiritual standpoint, particularly. I'm grateful because Eledumare has pretty much shown me my true roadmap. In this system, there is, like I said, there's a loneliness, there's the cultural shock, and the worst part is the lack of togetherness amongst us as Black folks. There's no togetherness. We are the best that we've got, and we are also our own worst enemy. You're by yourself. For some of our people within our communities, you might be the only person living abroad. And you might have a husband back home with children back in Africa. There's hardly any friends. There's nothing. And going to work, there's nobody to talk to. Somebody said, "Phrankleen, you should have called her out immediately in a polite but poking manner." Ndolo, if you know me offline, right? I'm a warrior by nature. I can hold my own down. I can look at anyone in the face and speak my mind. Okay? But where do we draw the line? You see, when you leave every day having to fight, even for the littlest of things that your counterparts wouldn't have to fight for, if you're not careful, it would damage your mental health. It will affect your behavioral pattern. And these are some of the things that happen. You know, people get subjected to barrage of microaggression, racism, ill treatment, profiling, and all that. Yeah. Then they turn to outbursts and aggression, just being explosive because they can't deal with it. The same system will peg you as being an aggressor, being a dangerous Black man or woman, and they would then use the same databases, system, court system, and all that to absolutely destroy you. It's crazy. A lot of our people are suffering in silence. People are suffering in silence. There is no support unit. The systems that we live in, if you're in Australia, you're in the US, they know, they have this data on us. Take, for example, some of you have probably seen this lately because there's been a surge in the number of people coming in from like Nigeria and across Africa because of the types of visas that are available, right? So when people get hit by the shock, like how expensive things are, problems with accommodation, Airbnb, the gas and electric bills, and and the struggles they are facing, and sometimes a lot of these people, the only thing that they've got to turn to are their mobile phones because there's nobody to speak to. They're by themselves. Somebody has come all the way from Nigeria, and then he's moved to Derby. He's moved to Sheffield. He's gotten accommodation in the outskirts of Manchester. He has no clue. There are people looking at him funny. He has what they regard as a heavy accent. He's an African. She's an African. They are ostracized. They are treated differently. You see these every day. You're running to the bus stop. They're looking at you different on the bus. Things like that. At work, you don't understand. You're struggling left, right, and center mentally. A lot of these people, they have nobody to listen to them. So they pull out their phones, they make a video and to share their concerns and things like that. It will be black folks from within their own community, people that look like you and I, will be the ones discrediting them, asking them to shut up. The average Nigerian based back home, for example, if I come online and say, whoa, these cost of living in the UK is killing us, man. If you're living in the diaspora like me, you understand. Most people understand because everything is bloody expensive. It be your own people. Even some of the selfish and snobbish ones in the system will be the first to ask you to keep quiet. Oh, if you don't like it, get out. People are inundated with bills and outgoings. They have children. They have lots of overheads. The moment they come out to say, oh, we're struggling, oh, this is too expensive, it be your own people that shut you up straight and ask you to keep quiet. So the question is, who do we turn to? Talafe Basoro. So when you put stuff online and you see hundreds of comments, snide remarks from people that barely know you, they ask you to keep quiet. Oh yeah, UK is the best place in the world, which is a lie. Too many black folks in our communities that don't even understand the true orchestration of the world that they live in, the country that they live in. They don't understand the true black history. They're the loudest. They're the ones that ask you to keep quiet. A lot of people are actually neck deep in depression as we speak. The system that you live in is not ready to listen to you. You have no shoulder to cry on. So, and this, we're suffering from moral decadence amongst ourselves, and this is having severe tolls on mental health. Now, not to justify domestic abuse. When you have a bunch of black folks that live in the systems, and people are neck deep in frustration, most of it emanate from financial struggles, lengthy and very difficult working conditions and stuff like that, right? Now, when people bottle this too much, they take this into the confines of their union. So a man that's in this bubble, struggling, there's nobody to talk to him, there's nobody to educate him properly. So he goes home, he takes that frustration out on his wife. She's also in that bubble. This leads to explosion. This leads to a vicious cycle. She wants to get away from that outburst. She wants to get away from that frustration. She doesn't understand. The only thing she can do is to call the police. The police is a representation of the state. They will happily come in to break that family unit. They will happily come in to lock up that black man. Now, this is not to justify violence or threat to life. I'm just saying, they will happily populate that database and litter your life with criminal record. They're not there to give us empathy. Oh, here's a struggling black family. Let's help them to stay together and give them adequate support. You're not going to find that. Depression also comes, depression comes from struggle with finance or lack of finance. This could come from lack of jobs. That may also come from maybe having immigration complexities, people that are living in the shadow of the system. Remember, thank you, Luajuan. Thank you for the super chat. People living in the shadow of the system. We have thousands of our people. Remember, they are in the shadows. I worry about those people a lot because they are in the shadows. There's no help. Even within, I'm talking about the establishment, forget that. Even within the black community, a chunk of those people that are living within the shadows are being subjected to abuse by their own people within the black community. Being like the females being taken advantage of sexually, sexual exploitation, because once they know this lady has no papers, or you're struggling with accommodation, you're struggling with job, you don't have cash flow and stuff, a man who has unscrupulous intentions might easily set a honey trap for you. Accommodation is a big deal in the West. If you can't come up with £500-600 a month to keep a roof over your head, I'll be honest. If you as a woman, you're in the shadow of the system, that's problem number one. You have, you're struggling with job flow, cash flow, documentation problems can lead to not having jobs and cash flow. 9 out of 10 times, there are a bunch of men out there that want to bend you over and use you for sexual gratification. Oh, they're going to milk that gratification out of you, and they will still deny that help that you're looking for in the first place. They will weaponize your sufferings against you. That's a special kind of suffering in itself. There are some, on paper, it looks like they are reliant on someone else's identity to survive. The owners of the said identity can see their monies coming in because they have multiple jobs. They become greedy individuals. They take advantage of them financially. I heard one recently via email. A woman said, "Phrankleen, I have multiple jobs. I'm using somebody's identity. I'm in the shadow of the system." She said, in a calendar month, after tax, I bring in £2,760 from multiple jobs. She said, the owner of the identity, we had an agreement that they would take £400 a month. But the more money that this lady brings in, the owner of the identity became greedy. So from £2,700 plus, they would take £1,000. Imagine somebody takes £1,000 from 2,750. You're left with one. So sometimes they would take 1,002 because they know she hasn't got a choice. And then they will say stuff like, oh, if you don't like it, you can move on. They know that you don't have multiple options. You are in the shadow of the system. Now, the reason I'm giving this narrative, there are plenty of people out there like this person. They'll be trapped in depression. There is financial pressure from back home. Some of them are actually mothers. Some of them are fathers that have left children in Africa. They're trying to feed them. They're trying to send them to school. Some of them might have elderly parents. They might even have siblings and medication and whatnot. Truckload of responsibilities. There's a lot going on. There was one that stuck out for me, one woman. I remember meeting her some months ago, and she said, Phrankleen, I had to run from Manchester and run down to London. I said, why? She said, there was this woman that was helping me with identity so that I can work and stuff. And then she said, this woman would require me to sleep with her husband on a monthly basis before they can give her money. So she was like a sex slave. So I said, huh? She said, yeah. She would require her to sleep with her husband on a monthly basis. And yeah, I'm a spiritual person. There is no sane woman out there that would ask another woman to willingly sleep with her man. So if such arrangement is happening, there's a dark energy behind it. They're probably tapping into our essence. They did this to this woman non-stop for 2 years and 3 months. When she had enough, she abandoned everything and ran to London. I'm telling you, if you see this woman facially, you would probably think she was lying. She looks beautiful. The way she was dressed, you wouldn't have an idea what she could possibly be going through. You understand me? People go through stuff. She kept saying, Mr. Phrankleen, I'm depressed. I remember. She said, I'm depressed. I don't know what to do. She kept saying, sometimes I just think maybe I should just end it. The suffering is too much. Everybody you talk to, they want to sleep with you. They want to use you. They want to do this. Now, the reason I'm saying this, there are plenty of people like this in the shadows. Now, I wish I could help her, but in that circumstance, I couldn't. There is no support unit. Thank you. That's the few that speak up. A whole lot are silent. Thank you. Even when you go to parties and you see people in dresses, makeup, and everybody's dancing, eating jollof rice, there's a lot going on. There are some women with their headgears and their makeup, they look sexy and all that. And they are probably punching bags or punch bags within the confines of their unions. They're suffering heavily. And again, a lot of our people come from this culture where I don't want people to know, where do I this, and then probably end up dead. It's crazy. The reason I'm talking about this, at least there's somebody here that knows that you're not alone, and I empathize with you, man or woman. If you're listening to me right now or you watch this later, you're not alone. The best thing I can say to you tonight, please just keep your head up, okay? And also, this is one of the reasons, some of the contributory factor to the sufferings. This is why we tell people, nobody's stopping you from traveling abroad. Check if you align spiritually with the location. Don't throw away everything you've built in Africa. If you've built something, don't travel out of desperation. When I hear people back home, my brother said, my sister said, oh, once I get to the UK, they're going to do X, Y, Z for me. They're going to bow full truckload of lies. My uncle said, my daddy's younger brother said, we don't have, depression is real. Depression is real. We don't have a support network. It's scary. You see all these new in the UK Nigerians that are churning out all these daily and weekly videos. They managed to move into a flat, a 10 by 10 box apartment. They are making videos and shouting, you know, UK is the best. For now, I'm working in the factory, and they piss me off, man. I watch these videos, they piss me off. They turn to immigration experts overnight. They piss me off, man, these people. I'm not knocking you for wanting to make your money on YouTube or whatever, but these misinformation. And the problem as well that contribute to this depression, the black folks are the only set of people that romance. We are the only race of people that romance and bond with suffering. Thank you, Akpitomi. We enjoy sugarcoating suffering. You come on YouTube, you make videos and talk about you're doing this factory job. And I'm not knocking you, but can you be bloody honest, right? And tell people that you're earning maybe £9 an hour. After tax, this is what you take home. From that take home, this is what goes towards rent, council tax, gas and electric, feeding, transportation. So the guy and the ladies that are watching you would look at, okay, wait, so after your pay pack, at the end of the calendar month, after you've paid everything, you have £220 left. Okay, you have £180 left. Oh, you have £300 left. Oh, you have nothing left. But we like to sugarcoat and present the very difficult life abroad as if this is the normal reality for the black community. The absolutely naive person, individuals that are sat in Lagos, Nigeria, Ibadan, in whatever parts of Nigeria, for example, they're blinded by total misconception. They're watching this YouTube video with their data on their phones. You're lying. I watched the video of a couple recently. I'm not going to name them. And I watched the way they were sugarcoating their suffering. You're telling me you moved to the UK. You're telling me, you know, the husband works lengthy hours and all that stuff in a box apartment. Okay, fine. And then you're telling people on video that all of your appliances in your house, when you come out of your house on the street, you found used sofa that some white family have used and abandoned on the roadside. You took it, you cleaned it, you put it this. You found a used um, microwave on the roadside that somebody had abandoned, a used boiling kettle. If can we just be honest? If you relocate somewhere and you have to pick kettles and microwave on the pavement that's been used and abandoned, and you have to use all of that to kit your kitchen, and you are desperately trying to sell that narrative as UK is so nice. Alaye, iyalile. It's not like I'm happy. I'm actually heartbroken because I'm like, this is madness. Why do we love romancing with suffering? I saw this old woman. She put out this fridge, and I was like, mommy, mommy, are you not using that fridge anymore? Me, as a smart Nigerian. What? How does that make you a smart Nigerian? As a smart Nigerian, I just took the fridge. I told my husband, let's wash it. It's lovely. As a smart Nigerian? No, that's a suffering Nigerian. Iyanie. And then you see the comments. Well done, my sister. Omo, I can't wait to jackpot and be there. You spent over 20 million naira, 20 something plus million naira to come and pick used kettles and microwave on the pavement. And you're telling me that you give your God the praise. Iyanie. I understand that we can go through phases in life, but that's suffering. There's a truckload of these YouTube videos. It makes me sick. I wanted to do reaction videos, but I don't want to connect myself to them because I will rip into them. And this is the reality. This is the reality that we project. Ansha lukun kolegbe titi. I'm not trying to please don't misinterpret where I'm coming from. Okay? I've paid my dues in the system. I understand that we go through phases of life. The sizes of these fingers, they're not the same. Ikao dogba. I get that. You can buy things from a charity shop. You can afford a brand new one. There are certain things. But if you have to pick stuff on the pavement, alai, if you have to pick stuff on the pavement, nah, that's not a good quality of life. And this is the false narrative that they sell to people. There was a guy the other day, I saw his video. He was like, It's a lie. There is no Nigeria in the UK that has ever had accommodation problem. Every Nigerian in this UK, everybody is earning big. I saw this on Instagram and I thought, is this the wind up? All these people making video, they are lying. If you want to sell your house in Nigeria, sell it and come to the UK, man. UK is the real deal. Ha. He was actually shouting, asking people, sell your house. I thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. These are the things that lead to depression. People make big mistakes. When they get sucked into the system, they then start to realize that they are trapped. But because of shame, this is why, from a spiritual standpoint, I always say, Lord Shayewo, die faleluri. Because if you are by universal spiritual calling, if you are bound to be prosperous in Nigeria, the universe has marked you to be successful, even if the four corners of Nigeria was on fire. If Eledumare says you will prosper, you can be in the US for 20 years. You've gone in a totally wrong direction. You're wasting your own time. That's facts. If the universe says you're bound to prosper in Gambia and you're trapped here in the UK, you're wasting your own time. You're wasting your time. There's so many lies. I want to address something. You'll see some of our people that would come online and say, everything is information. There is information online. I agree. But let me tell you something. I want to clear this myth. People would say stuff like, oh, if you want to travel abroad, just go on Google. You would never find the truth in Google. In fact, it's the worst place. Just Google, find out about the UK. That's a lie. Everything that you find on Google about life in the UK, life in the US, they are all tailored to put the West in a positive spotlight. Thank you. It's not even written for us. If you want to find out about Paris, go on Google. You find all the beautiful things, the shiny pictures and how lovely Paris is. Go to the back streets of Paris. Filthy. You find naked madmen and women, filthy, dirty streets, heightened racism, burglars in broad daylight pickpockets. They will never write that about themselves. I saw somebody made a video today. We turn ourselves to gatekeepers because you're trying to get your money on YouTube. This lady was talking about how the UK immigration has come out with this new rule that you can now change your status from having an ongoing student visa. You can now change the route to a particular type of visa. And she was shouting in the video, praise the Lord. I'm so happy. The United Kingdom, this country that I've lived for donkey years, everything is a chess game that works in their favor. If you see them bringing out a special kind of visa, zoom out and look at the bigger picture. It's to make more money. The end goal is to work in their favor. It's not a crime, it's immigration. But you see, the translation of this is our people. Every little thing, they will jump. We celebrate art. That's why they sort of have this blanket perception of Africans like we're stupid. That's why they believe that they are better. It's a misconception, but we're not helping the narrative, are we? We're not helping to dismantle the narrative. They have designed the journey to becoming a permanent resident to be a very long one so they can use the process to demand and collect and siphon extortionate amounts that will contribute positively to their own system. In the process, beating down our people with lack, with poverty. Again, remember I said there is no support system. Do you know the number of people in the black community that are actually struggling to renew their papers? When I say struggling, I'm not talking about the outcome of their applications to the immigration department. Struggling because of the extortionate amount in fees. You think is a joke? I know someone, husband, wife, 2 children, family of 4. The immigration fees, they don't have it. They can barely save. Wife can't really work full-time. She works part-time. You know why? Because childcare is bloody expensive. So she's having to look after the children, try to do school runs and then go work in the evenings. She's not earning that much. They would feed, they'll pay gas and electric, they take care of the children. On top of that, they didn't have to save to renew their papers. It's near impossible. Now, these are the things that push people into depression. Don't let anybody lie to you. If you look at the Western system, like a pyramid, at the bottom end of the spectrum, most people are average in our community. There's nothing wrong with that, but most people, most of our population are average, regular earners. Nothing elaborate. Then you have people, maybe IT, top IT jobs, and maybe medical doctors, lawyers. Those numbers they're minute. It's not a fair, a honest representation of the wider black community. Most people are average. Let's be real. Let's call a spade a spade. This is not to put anybody down. Most people are average earners. Some people don't have a disposable income of £1,000. But not fairly. The pressure is too much. So please don't listen to those selfish and self-centered black folks that come online and start bragging because they know 2 or 3 programming languages, they work as project managers. This is not the true reality of the wider black community. This is not. This is why I laugh at these idiots. Torí bá gbà fún ẹ, tẹ́lẹ̀dùmarè gbà fún ẹ. Torí ẹ kó kan òkè tá jẹ́ fáyé ẹ ṣe bùjókòó. If you have a rewarding career, that's amazing. There's nothing wrong. Nobody's castigating you. But it's not a honest representation of the wider black community. It's not. Not everybody is a lawyer. Not everybody's gone to medical school. Not everybody is an IT consultant. Not everybody is a project manager. Not everybody is a data analyst. Not everybody is a business analyst. Not everybody will be. So look at this. Think visa, depending on type, has been renewed every 3 years. Skilled visa, 625 per person every 3 years. Imagine family of 4. Now, we are wired differently. There are some people, they can print out the renewal forms and fill it themselves, attach the necessary information, and send it off to the immigration department, provided they don't have any complications or anything like that. And the health surcharge and lawyer fees. Now, most people will have to use lawyers. So the immigration department will collect their fees, and then you've got to pay the lawyers. You can't condemn the lawyers because that's what they do for a living. They're offering you a service, you've got to pay them. Imagine application for a family of 4, and you're going to have to pay lawyer fees. Some lawyers be like, okay, give me 50% of the fees or 60% upfront or whatever, and then the rest you pay in installments. Even at that, a refusal is more money appealing than nonsense. Absolutely. It's all carefully orchestrated. There are a bunch of people that also get refused. They will have to go through tribunal stages. Some have to go for judicial reviews and upper tribunals, and boy, it's a lot of money. And as people go through this, depression, which is the primary topic, go easy. There is no support unit. So, and the thing is, you might know Daddy Lagbaja and Mommy Lagbaja, you might know Mr. and Mrs. such and such in your local church, and whilst you're trying to tell them about your sufferings or your challenges, we're trying to renew our papers, my husband is not getting enough hours, blah, 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 we're struggling. I got news for you. They have their own truckload of responsibilities and sufferings too. In fact, you might be looking at a particular family. Maybe you, your husband and your children, you get on the bus. You don't have a car. You might be looking at a particular family. They have a lovely Nissan Qashqai. They have a lovely Toyota. They're driving a VW 4x4. You have a preconceived notion that they have more money. They're living paycheck to paycheck. Car loans and everything. So if you are talking to them about your struggle and you are hoping that they might be able to lend you £500, they don't even have it. Or they might have it and they're worried that you might not be able to pay back because you're struggling. These are the things that so look at that, man. Out of 46.9 million black people in the US, there are only 3,000 black male, 1,600 black female physicians in the US. As huge as the US is. You know, I don't really know the stats about the US. I live here in the UK. If you want to bring dependent to the UK, £3,250. We are the way out is ourselves. The way out is ourselves. Now, let me say this before I go. Another problem is religious gatherings they're leeches, man. They're not designed to help you. I want to ask a question, Mr. Phrankleen. If a Nigerian guy collects loan in London, can he travel back to Nigeria to spend that loan? George, I'll leave you to decide for yourself. Don't ever ask me that kind of question, okay? You're an adult. Make your own decision. All right? I am not a hub for your own nonsense. No, some of these people, they are plants. You may laugh about it, but they are plants. It's a bait question. That person called judge, it might even be the establishment watching my live stream. It's a bait. If you respond to them and you tell them about how to execute criminality against the state of England, I can assure you in less than 24 hours, the police will come knocking. You've got to be smart on this public platforms. You might laugh. The establishment is watching, especially platforms like mine, where you try to emancipate black folks. You've got to be smart. And guess what? The 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 primary gatekeepers are the people that look like you and I. You understand me? And also, you see some of these Nigerian content creators that come online to make all these immigration videos. On a final note, I just hope that, I don't know, maybe I should make them a separate video to warn them. It's a criminal offense in the United Kingdom if you are not an immigration lawyer or you're not regulated by OISC, you don't have a practicing license to just make videos and talk about immigration. 10 ways to enter the UK, how to renew your this and this. Trust me, go and check online. If you are not an immigration lawyer and you are not regulated, giving immigration advice is actually classified as a criminal offense. It's one of the quickest ways to get criminal record. Don't get me wrong, a bunch of people come to me to discuss immigration matters. If I want to respond to you, there's a way I can, except if I know you or we're talking offline, one-on-one. But Tiffany, I will respond to you. But you see, on this internet, all these people that are making the YouTube coins, they're coming for you. 15 ways to enter the UK. 17 ways to get Canadian PR. How to upgrade from student visa to UK PR. It's a criminal offense. Go and read up on the law. They would jail you. They would give you a criminal record for life. You've got to be smart. And this is what I'm saying. And when you get into that courtroom, ignorance is not an excuse. They're not forgiving of people that look like you and I. They will slam you. I want to give God the praise. You know, when me and my husband, when we fill the form, in fact, when I check the Home Office website, please go and check. You send me email, I will tell you how to make the application. It's very easy. The Home Office will just renew. I'm telling you, man. Actually, if you have a knack for immigration matters, if you have an interest, this might help someone, and you don't have a law degree, go and look at OISC. I've forgotten the full meaning, yeah? Go and look at OISC. If you're here in the UK, they have level 1, level 2, level 3 qualifications. I think you're going to apply for it or take an exam or something. You pay for the license, you renew it every year. I think level 1 of their certificate, you can only give advice. There is certain advice. They have a rule for everything. Level 2, you can help people to complete applications. Level 3, you can complete all sorts of immigration applications, appeal. You can even go to certain tribunals. When you have your license, then You can even use your YouTube platform to gain business traffic. Because when people know that you are actually licensed, it makes you even more credible. You get more and more referrals. So if somebody tries to mess with you, or they try to be vindictive, or they try to be spiteful or whatever, and let's say you get randomly contacted by the police and about your video, you never know. And then you can say, I'm a regulated immigration, Office of Immigration, it's OISC. And then you can come out and say, I'm a regulated immigration expert. I have a level 2, I have a level 3 that allows me to do X, Y, Z. And you make your money legitimately. Because when you make these YouTube videos, it's a digital footprint that they can use to commit you to prison or to give you a permanent criminal record and sabotage your life. And even you that's given baseless immigration advice, you're not yet a permanent resident in the UK. The moment you get that criminal record, it sabotages your journey within the system. So there goes your truckload of depression. And they can even use that as grounds to flush you out of the country. A bunch of our people don't know all this 2 months 2 months in the UK, you're coming and shouting about UK PR, making truckload of videos because you're loving that YouTube coins. YouTube is actually a way to make money, but you gotta be wise. You gotta be careful, man. This system is not forgiving of us. There's no, sorry, I didn't know. The Bible says in the book of Philippians that I didn't know, Kenny. They would send you to the magistrates. You're done. I know a man when I used to live in when I was up in Leeds. I've known him for years. He helps a lot of people within the Nigerian community with immigration applications and complexities, people that can't handle things themselves. He was just being generous. He'll get a bit of kickback. He would help. He would spend hours helping people with documentation, filling applications. Somebody went to grass him up within Nigerian community. He ended up in the magistrate and he had a double criminal record for it. And he had to pay nearly £2,000 in fine at the time. I get a lot of those emails. Hey, me, Franco. Oh, they come because I know the establishment is watching. They use their foot soldiers, and it'll be black people. Some of them will come to your DMs on Instagram, no profile pictures, newly opened accounts. Phrankleen, I live in Manchester. I'm trying to renew my this with my wife, you know. You're my black brother. So, you know, on the Home Office website, yeah, they said when you want to submit this, is it true that the moment you type, you leave a digital footprint and say, oh yeah, when you fill this form, you tell the Home Office that this, boom, they use that against you. So we are the best that we've got. How do we get rid of depression? Be your brother's keeper. Don't be quick to tear yourselves down. Be your brother's keeper, be your sister's keeper. We are the best. The oppressor is not going to build the black community for us. No. Be your brother's keeper. Even if all you can do for someone is just to listen to them. Be nice. Don't be the first to tear down your own kind. Be nice. Listen to them. Be supportive. Somebody's struggling to find their feet in the system. Don't be that guy that would take sexual advantage of that black sister. If somebody likes you and they want you to blow their back out, if somebody likes you and they want your aubergine down in your throat, that will be consensual between both of you as adults. That's a different thing. Don't be the one to subject that black sister to sexual slavery just because she hasn't got papers or she's struggling with accommodation. Don't be the one to make that brother homeless because he has no papers yet. Or don't be the one to tell his business because you had an argument about football and you think you're better off because you have a permanent residence and he hasn't got papers. Don't be that person. Let's indulge in togetherness. Make your shoulder available for your brother to cry on, to lean on. We are the best resource that we've got. The oppressor is not going to build us. They're not going to build for us. As a matter of fact, there was a roadmap to take complete control of Africa. Europe, America, every part of the world, they need Africa to survive. And they're coming. That's all I'm saying. Depression is real. Don't ostracize people. Okay? There are people struggling. And if somebody confides in you, I want to say this, just learn to keep your mouth shut. If somebody's suffering, they don't have papers, don't run to the top of the mountain, go to Olashiri, and talk about the fact that they don't have papers and tell as soon as they walk into a room, the other 10 people that have never met them already knows that they don't have papers. Don't be that person. Don't be the weak link. There are people that I personally know in this country that don't have papers. I wish them all the best. I don't need to tell their business. There are some people in our community, as soon as you get your hands on permanent residence, you think you've arrived. You're better than everybody now. Don't push people away because you think you're better. Hey, let me put a disclaimer. Friendship is a thing of choice. It's not by force. It cannot be imposed on anyone. Friendship is a totally different conversation. But I've bumped into so many people that just by the virtue of the fact that they watch me on YouTube. There was a woman that met me recently when I got back from Nigeria. I can see she's got gray hair. She's in her 50s. You can tell she needed somebody to talk to. Talking to me for 5 minutes, she just burst into tears. She's like, Phrankleen, ó ti sú mi. I felt like a lump in my throat, man. And frankly, ó ti sú mi, because she's struggling. So I was asking, said her husband died of blood cancer and she's been here 14 years, no papers. She's been through hell. She said there was a charity that was helping her through the pandemic to pay for where she stays with her 2 daughters. And then she said recently they just called her and said they can't carry on because the charity is lean on fundings and, they've helped her for 2 years, to be fair. And she said she started this work cleaning a pub and the owner of the pub promised a certain amount of money. He decided to pay her half because he knows she doesn't have papers. People are going through stuff, man. She wants to go back to Nigeria. But the truth is she has nothing to fall back upon. She said, but there's nothing to go back to her home. She's 55. I don't know this woman from Adam. Never met her before. But I did one thing. She had full access to my eardrums and immeasurable amount of empathy. In the end, I gave her a hug What could I possibly do? Ha! Here's another thing. I told my wife this, for those of you that may not know, with the cost of living that's gone up and all that. Speaking of depression, yeah? If you go to a lot of our meat shops and all these stuffs in Peckham, North London, Deptford, in London or other parts of the UK, but take for example London, right, where there's a lot more crowd and all that stuff. I went to the meat shop the other day. I was trying to buy meat and some chicken and all that. I told my wife this, and this is not the first time I've seen this. There's this Nigerian woman. She has three daughters, and she was begging these meat sellers for a discount. And to tell you, the discount she was begging for was just £3. It's almost inconceivable, but it's the harsh reality. You know, like a £3 difference in money, and she was begging. And I remember when I was talking to my wife said that £3 could be £3 going towards a bag of chips for her children. That she was begging, her voice was cracking. So it got to a point, one of our daughters was like, Mom, if this, let's just buy what we can with the money. And, you know, it's embarrassing that they're shouting at you. Let's go home, Mom. And she was just like, you know, in Yoruba, she was saying, what are you going to eat? It's because of you guys. I dipped my hand in my jacket. I had like £15. Sorry, £12. And £12, and I handed it to her. There was another elderly woman who had a trolley. She's a pensioner. She's a bit bent. The mama is Nigerian. She's elderly. The woman gave her £10. Another gentleman who's a bus driver gave her £10. So the guy was just like, Otito, auntie, era, gotefera. So she was able to buy a few more things. She was weeping, thank you, and all that. There's so many. I mean, I suppose it's the cycle of life. But what I'm telling you is, when I see them, when I see these things, doesn't mean I don't have my truckload of challenges and struggles. But some people have nobody to speak to. They have nobody to turn to. I can go on the pavement right now. You see somebody in a nice winter jacket, they got a cap on, jeans jacket, whatever, trainers. You just look at them, you don't know where the shoe is hurting. You're when you're gone. Imagine somebody in a meat shop begging for over 45 minutes for like it's like a £3-4 discount. And when I was narrating to my wife, like I said, my wife said, that £3, that £4 may have to go on electric or gas or buy chips or buy something. And the moment she loses that £3, maybe bag of chips, maybe bread for the children, maybe milk, that means she wouldn't be able to afford those things. Fact. On the closing note, everyone is struggling out there. I hope and pray that, you know, the universe comes through for you. Kí orí wa kó jà fún wa, kórí wa kó lànà fún wa. Kí ọwọ́ wa kó má kàn sálẹ̀ àpò. Kí ajé kó fayé wa ṣe òjókòó. Ká máa rí ná, ká máa rí lò. Kádúrà wa kó gbà. Ká gbélé ayé ṣe ohun rere, ká kéré kó délé. In your own jurisdiction, in your own, wherever you find yourself, everything is not about money. Whomsoever you can help, help. But I'm a believer. In order for us to collectively enjoy Black excellence, we are all intertwined. We are the best resource that we've got. You know, sometimes just lending someone your eardrums goes a long way. Now, if you don't feel like getting involved, you are within your human rights to walk away. Don't make mockery of people. If you don't want to get involved, carry on with your best life. That's okay. We're not going to subject ourselves to emotional blackmail, maybe because you don't want to. Sometimes a cup of coffee will make a huge difference in the next man's life. Just a cup of coffee. Sometimes £10. As we are here in the UK, there are people that if you hand them a tenner tonight, they'll go to Aldi tomorrow. They'll go to a local high street shop. They'll pick something, spaghetti, whatever, to cook. They'll buy eggs. They'll buy milk. Believe me, man, we're the best that we've got. These governments, these establishments don't give a toss. They're there to milk us, beat us down, take advantage for their own progress. So we're the best, man. I wish you all the best. Thank you for listening to me. Those that need help, I hope you're able to find adequate help. Depression is not a joke. Don't make mockery of mental health. I see that on the internet. If somebody's bipolar or they got mental health, you know, you get these things. Go and take your medicines. Go and take your meds. Go and take your drugs. You are insane. It's if you got children or you got a family member, go and ask people that have people close to them that are dealing with mental health. It's not a pleasant look. Don't make jokes out of people's sufferings. That's all I'm just saying. Mental health is not a joke. It leads to suicide. Some people, they're trapped in that dark place. They end up taking the life of other innocent persons. There are some people in this Western system, man or woman, they need somebody to talk to. Mentally, they are struggling. The police will get to them. Instead of helping them, they will arrest them. They will get them mentally sectioned and they will drug them. They will absolutely ruin them. They'll throw them in jail. They'll put chains on them. We are all that we've got, whether we like it or not. That's my message tonight. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Please smash the like button. If you want to get in touch with me, my email address is in the description below, footchannel1960@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram at Phrankleen. If you're a man, before I go, it's okay to let out your emotions. Forget the societal conditioning. It's okay to cry. It's okay to let it out. It's okay. You're on your own power. Oh, you are a man. A man must not. It's a lie. There's so many men suffering. It's okay. Speak up. Learn to turn to your wife if you have a lovely wife at home. Speak to your wife. Stop being egotistical. Learn to listen to your wife. Especially if she's telling you, I'm emotionally this, and you can see that this woman is depreciating. Listen. I'm not a perfect human, but listen before it's too late. Anyway, thank you. And I will most definitely catch you in the very next one. Peace and good night.